Welcome to Reds Access, your weekly Cincinnati Reds podcast throughout the 2025 season, covering Reds news, games, and more. If you're a Reds fan like us, feel free to subscribe to us here on YouTube and be entered into a contest to win an authentic Cincinnati Reds MLB shop hat and $20 Skyline gift card when the Reds make the playoffs. And we're saying when, despite the slow start to start the season. Of course, also follow us across social media, Reds Access. Instagram is going to be Reds_Access. And TikTok, it'll be Reds Access Official. We're your hosts, as always, Collin and Kyler Osterberger, lifelong Reds fans who love to talk ball. Kyler, we've got a lot to talk about and a lot of very recent news. Just over the last couple hours, you're sending me some screenshots of the Twitter. A lot of news here moving for the Reds before the game 2 in San Francisco.
Yeah. And what Collin's talking about and what I sent over is McLain moved to the IL. I think it's a 10-day. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen a bunch of info on it yet, but I think it was a 10-day. Benson got called up. Marte got called up, and then Spires is being optioned to AAA. So I think that was posted maybe an hour or two ago from what I saw. So they are making moves.
Yeah, and I think people have been calling for that for a little while, and I guess I'm kind of surprised it took as long as it did. I'm more surprised that guys like Jake Fraley didn't go with Carson Spires to Louisville. And we'll talk about that. You know, we want to talk about some injuries today, then talk about some hot and slow starts to start the year. But Kyler, what do you think about our Reds so far to start the year? What have been your thoughts? Have you been happy, sad? We've got a positive run differential, but of course that includes that 14-3 trouncing of the Rangers. And other than that, it's been a pretty slow start to the offense.
Yeah. I feel like it's frustrating. Just like the last 2 weeks, just watching us score 14 against Texas, and then we go, how many innings was it? 35 innings of not scoring.
Yeah.
Like you can't go drop 14 runs and then not score for 35 innings. It's a slow start, and I think later in the podcast we're going to kind of go through like who's hot and cold. So I'll save that for later. But it's been frustrating for me watching the offense. I can't complain about pitching though. I feel like our pitching's been pretty solid so far. Hunter Green looked phenomenal last night. And I mean every start this year so far he's looked great. But yeah, it's just frustrating. The offense can't put it together. Then they'll put it together and score a bunch of runs, and then they can't do it again for 5 games. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but it's just been frustrating for me.
Yeah. Did you see the Hunter Green had to change gloves? Did you see all that? Because they said the 44 on his or on the and the HG on his glove face was too distracting. I guess they said the Giants said something. But man, I can't believe they make him. I mean, it's just a glove. There are guys that have snow cone gloves, and guys that have. I mean,
well, here's the other thing too. Like, I think Nike made that glove?
They did.
How did Nike not know when creating that glove with the design that would cause issues? 1 and 2. I mean, I don't think it was that good of an argument for him to have to change gloves. I think they even tried to cover it up, but he fully switched his glove. They tried to like sew just a red piece of leather over. But I don't know. I don't think Nike's going to make a glove that causes issues in baseball. And I think they were just kind of crying about it, but that's just my opinion.
It reminded me a lot of the Ellie De La Cruz game last year around this time, Kylie, where I think it was against the Nationals, was it? They called out his maybe it was the Cardinals. It was a team I didn't like, and he had that little bat thing on the bottom.
Yeah, it's like a little weight or whatever.
Yeah, it was a exit. It was like an exit velo or a swing speed tracker that he used during spring training. And it's funny because that knob didn't even have anything in it. It was just he got used to using it.
And then he hit a home run when they put it back on.
Yeah, I know. That was they kind of reminded me of that. Another similar dominant performance from Hunter Green. And like I said, we'll get into some of those dominant performances and a lot more poor performances to start the year. Of course, your Cincinnati Reds are 4-7, but reinforcements are coming, Kyler. There are guys coming back. There are guys closer than others. We'll talk about some pitchers first, then jump into some position players. So we obviously talked a lot in the preseason, Kyler, about Alexis Diaz, but he might be getting a little bit closer to coming back.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. I think Tito put out a quote. I can pull it up. It says, "We would like him to be in that role, but he needs to be ready to be in that role." And I think that's a great thing to say. That like he's just not going to get the closing role because he's coming back up. Like you got to earn it. Goes right back to accountability. Now, I mean, there's been some questionable things going.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could talk about accountability. That was
Yeah, there's some argument against that, but at least he's holding him accountable. He's not going to just that's not a position that's just going to be handed to Diaz as the closer. He's going to earn it.
Yeah, and Diaz is getting close to coming back. So Francona says that he's on path to pitch back-to-back days, Wednesday and Thursday. Reds start a 3-game home series against the Pirates on Friday. So hopefully he's ready to come back then. Presumably he's ready for the homestand. I don't know. I mean, he's had issues throwing strikes in his rehab stint. Kyler, he's walked a couple batters in both of his outings, or a batter in both of his outings. I would be shocked. It's hard to take that job. I think he gave it to Santillan last night. Santillan came in and closed it when Hunter Green couldn't do it. I know he turned to Emilio Pagan early in the year. Of course, you know how I like Tony Santillan. But Santillan's looked like a dog so far to start the year.
Yeah, I agree. And it's kind of just going back to we were talking about how it's just kind of filling in holes in the closer spot for the start of the season with Diaz being hurt. But yeah, I agree with you. He's looked great. And I think that's kind of reinforcing Tito's argument that you need to earn this spot. It's not just going to be handed to you because we're finally starting to look at other options and seeing who might be a better fit for that role rather than it's just Diaz.
Yeah, it might not be Diaz the best fit. I think he's a high leverage guy. He's a good reliever. At the end of the day, he's a good reliever. I mean, anybody that says he's not is just not looking at the statistics. He's a sub-4 ERA guy, career. That's a guy you want in high leverage positions. He's been a good closer. But maybe there's somebody that's a better closer on the roster. And I mean, there are guys like Santillan that have great stuff that should get a shot.
Yeah, so and they just didn't see that opportunity before with Bell.
100%, especially because Diaz was healthy enough, Yeah. There's also more pitching help coming in Andrew Abbott. We've not heard much on Rhett Lauder. At least I haven't heard much on Rhett Lauder. But Andrew Abbott, this is important because the idea was the Reds would make a decision on Wednesday, and then they'd see if they're going to give him another rehab start. Well, the Reds sit down Carson Spires today, so I guess they're kind of hoping Andrew Abbott's ready. But last start, Kyler, 4 1/3, 2 runs, 4 Ks, but he did give up 4 hits and 3 walks. He's looked a little shaky in his rehab stint so far this year, but he always seems to find a way to get out to the major league level, so I'm definitely welcome to have him back.
Yeah, Abbott's very crafty in my opinion, and he just he's young, so I know that he's lacking a little bit of experience, obviously, with years of pitching in the MLB, but I just like how he's very crafty and I mean, he's not scared to let the ball be put into play and just let the defense back him. So he can kind of get in and out of innings without having to strike out a bunch of people. So I know he's struggling and with the rehab, but I'm really hoping to kind of see him come back to how he was before. I thought he was a really decent rotational pitcher, but hopefully he just stays healthy and we can get him back on course.
I did too, man. I kind of think of him as like the TJ Friedl of the rotation. Despite everything I want, and I'm sorry I have this kind of thought in my head, but I don't want TJ Friedl to succeed, man, because I am a StatCast guy, and every stat in the book says TJ Friedl should not be a major league ball player. But yet TJ Friedl continues to get hits. And when I see him bunt a guy over to second with nobody out to give the bat to Santiago Espinal, I hate that. I hate that because it's not 2010. And the bunt, you're just sacrificing an out to get. I mean, guys aren't hitting 330 anymore, so it does not make sense to play small ball the same way. Yeah. I hate watching that. But yet, the guy's hitting 280. He's one of the better hitters in our lineup so far this year. So I see Andrew Abbott as similar to that. I see some things from him I don't like. Pitching to contact. He's not an overpowering guy, but he gets outs. You said he's crafty. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what he's doing. He doesn't throw super hard. He doesn't have anything like crazy breaking wise, but he finds a way to do it. And like you said, I like the word crafty to describe him.
He also got pretty cool mustache. So, it's
he looks like one of us. He just looks like a normal Midwestern dude. Like there's nothing special about him. Just a Midwestern dude out there throwing some gas.
he really looks like he'd call it Minnesota. He looks like that's what he. Of course, his battery mate's coming back too, Tyler Stephenson. Stephenson had not done any baseball activity since I think early spring training. He did have a precautionary secondary MRI Monday, which apparently must have looked good because he's now been cleared to resume baseball activity. Kyler, he was placed on the IL with low oblique strain, and we talked about Stephenson needing to stay healthy. We kind of went back, and Stephenson overall in his career has been healthy. It just that 1 year he was so unhealthy. It was thing after thing after thing. And, you see this now again. You think, oh, my God, here we go. But according to Francona, he says Stevenson's stoked. He says he's really excited. They're going to let him become more aggressive rotationally, getting back into baseball playing. He says it's good, right? Start doing some baseball stuff. He thinks Stevenson's on a good track, and he got some evidence saying he's good to go. So, obviously, Francona is also pretty stoked to have Stephenson back.
Yeah, I mean, I would be stoked too, especially with how our offense has been playing. Stephenson's a big part of RBIs, producing runs, hitting the ball exceptionally well. I know he had a great year last year, so I think we just need something. I feel like the problem is we need to shake the lineup up. Obviously, what's happening is not working. I know we're battling a lot of injuries, but yeah. We need Stephenson back. I mean, it obviously shows with him not being in our lineup.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I agree we need to shake things up, but how? I mean, they brought up, Marte hopefully takes a lot of the everyday playing from Candelario. I hate to say that, but I mean,
he's struggling.
We'll get into that. And then Benson hopefully takes some everyday playing from Fraley.
I hope he just hits bombs when he gets up here.
Man. Benson's such an easy guy to like, man. I mean, Fraley is not.
He was crushing it in AAA too, so hopefully he can bring that confidence, that fire up, and hopefully we can do something different, dude. I can't stand these score 10 runs and then not score for 3 games. It's just driving me nuts. Like the 3 games that we didn't score, those were games we should have won. 100%.
We were in the doomer chat, man. You and me in the text. It was a doomer.
Yeah.
Man, screw this. We weren't using the word screw. It was screw this team. Man, PG. Every year. I was going full on Cincinnati Reds fan, man. I really was. But we're so back after the Hunter Green start.
Well, you see, Hunter Green coming out there and doing well, and then we lose 1-0, and then next day pitch well, lose 1-0. Like that just drives me nuts. Like, trust me, I love a good game when there's defense every now and then. Obviously, I'd rather see home runs and RBIs and crazy scores, but it's just so frustrating. I don't know how to explain it. If you're not a fan of Cincinnati sports, I think you'll just never understand the frustration that we go through with our sports.
It's a teeter-totter, man. Either our offense is really good or our pitching is really good. It's never both. And it's every year. I think back to 2017, guys like Scott Schebler hit 30 home runs for that team.
Yeah.
And our pitching was terrible. Think back to the early 2000s. Griffey, Dunn, Larkin, and our best pitcher at a 5.0 ERA. I mean, we had Aaron Harang was our ace for 3 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's also obviously not sponsored, but, Cougar Bay, if you wanted to give us, or Country Boy, if you want to give us a call, sponsor us on the beer, we definitely appreciate it.
I would say Red Bull want to sponsor, but I think we're a little too small for them.
We are about closing on 40 subscribers, though. Our next subscriber will be 40 subscribers, which is honestly more than we could ever hope for with that. I mean, we're 2 months into doing this. We've had a great, kind of turnout so far and everything between all social media platforms. We're looking at almost 1,000 views of video, if not a couple thousand, considering all the different shorts and stuff. So we definitely appreciate the input, guys. But yeah, Stephenson will be huge, Kyler. I think Stephenson will be huge. And he's going to fill into that 5 real well in the lineup. And, hopefully send Candelario down a little bit in the lineup. I believe it was the Brewers broadcast was talking about Candelario. I was seeing something on Twitter about it. He's a really good guy to have in the lineup. At the bottom half of the lineup, he's really good. But when you rely on him to be a run producer, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
But when he's a guy that should not be a run producer, he produces. It's like so it's like he just gets stressed out and you see him swinging at bad pitches, and you need to have guys that run produce. And guys that run produce are guys that we're counting on to run produce, rather, or guys like Tyler Stephenson in the 5-hole. And the projected cleanup hitter this year, especially seeing Francona's lineup the last day of spring training, was Austin Hayes, who is also on path to get back. Kyler, Austin Hayes was projected to be a huge part of this offense. And We definitely need him, as you said, we've been lacking.
Yeah, we went out and spent $5 million on him. So and obviously
it was a prove it deal. It was a prove it for him. I mean, he still wants to, he's not young, he's not old, he's like 29, I think. I mean, this is his
yeah, I think early 30s, late 20s, yeah. Yeah, I really want to see him get utilized, so I'm excited to see him come back. Kind of going back to my last thing is just we need to kind of get these guys back from injury and shake that lineup up, kind of switch in positional players because obviously what we're doing right now is not working. Or
but
it's
who do we
working for
have?
one game and
Who do
not,
we
yeah.
have?
Yeah, but sometimes just getting like fresh perspective, um, like Hayes is going to be in a good mood.
Yeah.
Stephenson's going to be in a good mood. Obviously, like these are guys that want to play baseball and they've been hurt at the beginning of the season. So going back to like Candelario, like he might not be in the right headspace. He's struggling. He might need these guys to kind of take his spot, maybe give him less playing time. Maybe that lights a fire under him. Like something's got to change, or I think we're just going to continue to have this battle we're doing where we pitch really well, but we just don't produce offense and we lose these games that we should be winning.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Something needs to change, and Austin Hayes is going to help a lot with that. But when you're turning to guys like Blake Dunn, Jacob Hurtubise, and Santiago Espinal to be run producers for your team because you have nobody else, that's not a major league roster.
No,
we are, and Steer should be on the injured list too. I mean, there are guys that should be. It's harder to put Steer on the injured list though. With the news we have next, I was ready to give some positive news on Matt McLain. Actually, Kyler, we kind of wrote out some notes for the episode, and I talked about how Francona says they're trying to get some more information before he hurts it further. But Matt McLain says he's ready to go. He's dealing with it. They're just being cautious and using him. I guess they got some more information because Matt McLain, as you said earlier, was placed on the injured list, retroactive to Saturday, though. So he could be back 6 to 7 days from today, hopefully right after the Pirates series is over. But a huge hurt in the lineup. Our most productive hitter so far this year goes down already.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Like I said, I think earlier I saw it was a 10-day IL. But yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of beating a dead horse here, but I know we're struggling offensively, but we're also struggling just to stay healthy. It seems like one guy gets hurt and then 3 come back and then 4 get hurt, and it's just battling injury and moving people around. And we've already kind of talked about, I know this is off of McLain in the infield, but like we've struggled in the outfield. That's probably our weakest position. And we're struggling in the outfield. We're battling injuries. Our pitching staff's only going to be able to hold up for so long. They can't continue to throw 1-0 games and we keep losing. So McLain's definitely going to be sorely missed being gone.
And I hope it really is minor, man. I hope it's not something else going to do. You know, getting Marte is great. And if Marte is going to play like the Noel B. Marte we know we can get, like the way he played last year, then great. But, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, but, you know, how he's going to come in and hopefully put some strain off the McLain loss. But at the end of the day, McLain's a huge loss regardless. And we need him in the line. We need his power in the lineup. He should really be our cleanup hitter, in my opinion.
And didn't he just, I don't know if you saw the news, it turned down a contract extension. Did you read into that at all?
They said it was 7 years, 100 coming off of his injury year. I don't blame McLain for that just because he's probably trying to prove himself. But realistically, I would say 20 a year is probably realistic for McLain. He's a good player. I think they tried to get him on a Hunter Green contract, and he's probably not signing that. But I'd imagine he sticks. He's not going to be an expensive player if he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I know the social media has spun it out of control, and you obviously can't believe everything you see. But a lot of talk is obviously he doesn't want to stay in Cincinnati. He wants to win. So I'm just hoping that's not true. And like you said, it's just not a contract he agreed with or liked, and maybe we can get back to the negotiation table and figure something out.
It could be a length thing too. I mean, he might be looking for something shorter to, you know, say when I'm in my prime, when I'm 30, I want to get paid, you know.
Right.
That's when guys want to get that money.
Doesn't want to get locked down.
Guys that are 30, guy that's 32, or rather, I think he's actually 30. Let me look really quick. Yeah, he is actually 30 on the dot. So let's say I said 32, like 30 also. Jake Fraley has a injury, left side pain. It sounds
like a hooky.
Yeah, I hope it is. Sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers is a Garth Brooks song. It's also my thinking seeing Jake Fraley leave the lineup. Of course, I wish the guy nothing but health, but I also want to see
don't
my
wish him in the lineup.
Jake Fraley's 4-28 to start the season. He has a second percentile average exit velocity, 81 miles an hour, one of the worst bat speeds in the MLB, and he has not barreled a ball all year long. Jake Fraley doesn't strike out, so it's all weak contact, which is arguably worse than striking out in a lot of situations. Jake Fraley also, I went back and looked on StatCast, Kyler, has never been over the 10th percentile in exit velocity in any season in the MLB. He's never averaged over 86 miles an hour. He has never been. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
He had like a high expected on base, like where he plays ball. I think this is the reckoning for Jake Fraley, Kyler, and I don't think he's in Cincinnati much longer. His advanced metrics eventually will have to catch up with him.
I agree with you, and if he does stay, it's going to be a minor league role or pinch running. It's not going to be anything serious, but yeah, he's really struggled, which sucks because I like Fraley. I think we were kind of talking about him earlier in the year, like the United States American flag bandana, just a really cool guy. But
he had a health issue with his daughter too, right? Wasn't that something the Reds covered like a year ago or two? It was like a big, and then on top of that, he got really sick last year. He's a guy you want to root for.
Just can't do it.
It's hard to root for the guy when he jogs past, when he misses a ball in the outfield and jogs to the wall to get it. That was pretty inexcusable to me.
Yeah, I agree. Just can't put it together. But I didn't know the exit velocity stat that he was what you said 10% or below in all of his career. Was that what you said?
Yeah.
That's not great.
Not great at all.
I'm surprised he's even made it this far, to be honest with you.
He's been able to put it in play for such a long time. I mean, so you look at like his actual BABIP, the stats are good with that. It's just he's not been able to ever, hammer the ball, and it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. So Jake Fraley might be on the way out. But a guy that's on the come up, Kyler, we want to talk about Hunter Greene. Of course, he got some Cy Young votes last year, and really, I thought his season last year, Kyler, was good enough to win it. But he wasn't healthy at the end of the year. I think that cost him really heavily.
Yeah, I think he was out mid-August.
Yeah, he was out for a few weeks. It was it was some sort of discomfort, I think, but it ended up being nothing, of course. But man, so far this year, 3 starts, averaging almost 7 innings a start, 10 Ks per 9, and I believe he's only given up 2 runs so far this year. Man, he's on track for an 11 WAR season. He's looking really good.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I think it was 3 runs, just to correct you.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it looks great. And I just wanted to give you crap. But I mean, he's playing as a Cy Young winner, in my opinion, as of so far. I know it's very early in the season, but I'm really liking what Hunter Greene is bringing this year. Last night, I don't know if you saw, he painted that up and away corner for a strike 3. I can't remember who was batting, but dude, just literally on the corner, like he was painting, and you love to see it.
He's turning into an ace in front of us.
I think his stuff even looks better this year as well.
It does. That's what I'm saying. It looks so dominant.
His control has been really great. I don't know if it. I mean, obviously, there's probably him and Tito involved in that, obviously, but I don't know if Tito coming on to be our manager has really helped Greene develop faster and better than he would have with Bell, because I don't want to say he looks different. He was dominant all the years before, but this year, it is like watching a magician up there on the mound. Like, he can get out of innings. He is striking people out. His stuff looks good. Like, he's getting people getting strike 3 watching. Like, he is doing very well.
Well, there's horizontal run that I've never seen on his fastball before. And there's been a lot of talk. The old Reds camera angle on TV made his fastball.
That's what that corner that I was telling you that he hit. Yeah, it was I think a running fastball. It's like 98 or something like that. Or
Yeah,
97.
I've never seen his fastball run like it is this year. It's starting outside and cutting in at 98 to 100. He's averaging 99.5 mile per hour of fastball this year.
Yeah.
At 99.4 miles an hour, you can't react if you think it's outside.
Right.
So it's
and
it's beautiful.
It just runs right into that corner.
Yeah, it's incredible, really. And Kyler, I was just looking up really quick. So what would you guess if he had 11 WAR this season? So if he had 11 wins above replacement, where would that put him in the MLB last year?
What do you mean?
Where would that put him on the list if you had to guess? Number what in WAR? If he had 11 WAR this season, if he had that last year, where would it put him?
7.
It put him first.
Damn. Wow. Oh,
Put
pardon my
him
language.
put him over Aaron Judge.
Wow.
Yeah, impressive. We are.
I knew it was a top 10, but I didn't know it was number 1.
I didn't think it was either until I looked. Number 1.
Wow.
We are heading quickly to the 30-minute mark here, so I want to jump into we had a lot to talk about today, like I said. A couple guys got called up. We've talked about it a couple times. Noelvi Marte, Will Benson, Kyler got the call. Spires got sent down. Kyler, talk about Carson Spires. Let's touch on him really quick. He filled his role. I mean, I thought he looked decent, but he really blew up against the Rangers, or against the Brewers, rather. And I think that probably cost him his roster spot.
No, I agree. He looked great with the Rangers, how we were just kind of talking about that last week. I think it was. We talked about it a little bit. But yeah, and I don't know if there's like bad juju because that's the 11th series we've lost to the Brewers. We can't win against the Brewers. I don't know what it is, but I agree with you. I think if he could have kept playing like he did in that Rangers series, he probably would have got strung along a lot longer, but I'm hoping that he can produce in AAA and maybe come back up. And obviously we've had issues with injuries, God forbid if we have one, but I feel like he's like the next one to be ready if something was to happen.
And I'm fine with that. Really, I am. I mean, I think that I don't mind that at all with Carson Spires being our guy that can kind of take the reins if somebody gets hurt and kind of gets down. So other guys, though, Kyler, that we mentioned, Will Benson got the call, gets another crack at it. Benson had an 863 OPS in 23. That was the 14th highest in the MLB. So he was the 14th highest hitter in the MLB regarding on-base plus slugging, which is a stat that's really replaced average in a lot of ways recently. Comes in at 24. There are really high expectations for Willie Beeman, and he let everybody, I think nobody more than himself down, Kyler. I think he really let himself down. 154 strikeouts, 340 at-bats. But he's kind of on a redemption run this year in AAA, and he got himself he played his way back onto the roster.
Yeah. It might come off mean. Trust me, I like Benson, but our outfield isn't the best. So hopefully he can do something better than Fraley, or whoever. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hate to be so positive, especially with Benson. It's just so hot and cold. I know you really like Benson and you're really rooting for him, but nothing against him. It's hard to predict what Benson's gonna do. I feel like he's cold. He strikes out half the time, and then he just hits bombs, and I can't keep up. So I'm gonna kind of take a reserve seat with Benson on what I think, but I'll let you run a crack at it because I know that you're a big Benson fan.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he gets back to being one of the best hitters in baseball. I mean, at 14th best OPS in baseball in 2023. I hope he gets back to it. He's hitting 342 in AAA this year, Kyler. A lot of balls going the other way, like we talked about earlier. Will Benson is also only striking out at 25% rate, which for him he's a big, tall guy. I mean, that's, you hate to say that's what you expect, but that's not, anything to scoff at either. He's also only 27 still, Tyler, which is the biggest point I want to bring up. Will Benson is only 27 years old, so he's still got time to develop, and obviously don't want to give up on him. And I hope he figures it out because we need his back. We need the pop. We need somebody dangerous behind Ellie De La Cruz. It doesn't even matter if they strike out a lot. What matters is that there's the opportunity for them to take you deep. That's what matters. Well,
sack flies, just anything like that to get runs across the board. I don't care if you bat 150, but if you can produce runs and RBIs, that's what we need. That's why we're losing these games 1-0 because we can't produce.
That's the old Kyle Schwarber argument. And I'm going to make a really quick hot take. I don't think Elly De La Cruz can handle the heat by himself. So far this year, man, it seems like every opportunity we've needed Elly to come through. I'll leave it at that because I don't want to anger anybody in the comments. Or I think there needs to be somebody behind him.
Yeah, he can't carry the load. I mean, I know we're a baseball podcast, but going back to the Bengals, like with Burrow, like you can't carry a team. Like you need help.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And there's somebody else, Kyler, getting the call on top of Benson. So Noelvi Marte looks like he may have gotten right after he got popped for steroids last year. And that really derailed him when he came back, but looks like he might have figured it out.
Was that his second time last year getting suspended?
It was his first.
Okay.
He came for some training. He looks really big, and he looks, and then
hey, pee in this cup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You look like you eating too much Slim Jims. There's no way you beefed up like that, but I swear it was his second. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just going crazy, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens with him. What's your thoughts on him?
Well, my thoughts are like Noelvi Marte we need a guy that doesn't strike out a lot, and Marte's always been a guy that doesn't strike out a lot. In 2023, he had an 822 OPS, hit 316, which is awesome in 2023. Or even 2024, 25, and really just 2020s in Major League Baseball. He gets popped, as everybody knows. Really, I think that was a big damper into the Reds in 2024, man.
Yeah,
I think that was
season.
He was expected to be a huge part of that offense. And he really struggled, only hit 210 when he came back. And he went to the fall league. He struggled there. He was struggling everywhere. And everyone thought, man, what another busted trade for the Reds. He was part of that Luis Castillo trade to Seattle. Well, he's hitting 353, striking out 15% of the time in AAA with an OPS over 950. So he might have figured it out. And I would have wanted to see him stay in AAA a little bit longer and keep figuring it out. But Kyler, there's no denying that we need to help here.
Yeah, I agree. I think at this point it's going to see who plays better. They get the start in a sense. It seems like we're almost, besides obviously there's some solidified pieces like McLain and De La Cruz and like pitching Green, Little, all that kind of stuff. But it seems like some of these positions that were struggling, it's coming up like Tito is letting people play at it and see who gets the start. No one has a position. No one owns that position. So
to that point, he made a comment about Blake Dunn that he thinks he can be a starter in the MLB. And I guess I haven't seen it yet. I don't know. But Tito thinks Blake Dunn can be a starter in the MLB. He said, I know the Cowboy was talking about, he feels like Blake Dunn can be a Matt McLain type, strong arm, shorter. One thing that gets missed about Blake Dunn, he actually runs in the 100th percentile. So he is basically like Elly De La Cruz speed.
Yeah.
Which
great for outfield.
Well, we just haven't gotten a chance to see it yet because he's not. I mean,
I haven't seen anything bad about Dunn. I just don't know if we've seen enough of him, kind of thing too.
He struck out 8 times in 17 at bats. Is the only thing I've got. I mean, he's just striking out a lot, man. He's also only 26 though, so maybe give him a chance. Maybe let him see. Let him cook a little bit before you write him off. But there are guys,
it seems like we say that about almost like 80% of the Reds roster. But let's let them figure it out. Let's let them cook.
We're about to talk about cutting 80% of the Reds roster. Our last point we're bringing up today is guys that are underperforming. I was going to talk about performers, but the only hitters that are performing, Kyler, Friedel, you could say, but he's not hitting for any power or anything. 676 OPS. Jose Trevino somehow has a 907 OPS. I think that's a playing time statistic, not a. He's only got 19 at-bats so far this year. And McLain's on the IL. So the only other guy you can look at that's even performing is Elly De La Cruz, and he's barely over. He's at a 103 OPS, Kyler. So, I mean, let's talk about underperformers because there's quite a few of them. Going through the list, I mean, what have you seen from guys like Strand and Candelario, Lux?
Yeah, I was just about to start with CES that he's not hitting that well. Position-wise, field, looks great to me. No problem. But hitting wise, struggling. Pulling up some of the stats, batting average of 189, OPS 603. It's just not really doing much, but I think you brought up Candelario. You were talking about him a little bit earlier. If you want to go in about what do you think about him, good or bad? Setting that up as a layup.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely want to touch on Strand. Strand's not striking out a whole bunch, even though it seems like he is from the games I've watched. He struck out 9 times in 40 at-bats. They'll fall. He always swings so much out of the zone. Yeah, okay. But he also hits – he's proven he can hit at the major league level.
Yeah.
So I have faith in Strand, but I think that's another guy.
I like that you brought that up about him. He's bad at chasing outside the zone.
Yeah, it's like 50% chase rate. It's like one out of every other ball he sees, he swings at outside of the zone. He's pretty bad with that. But Candelario, man, he was so up and down last year, Kyler. I think we talked about one of the previous podcasts, kind of how strong he was in that June time frame. He hit like 12 of his 20 home runs in like a month and a half. Man, Candelario's looks tough. He had that opening day 3 RBIs. Since then, he only has 2. Since then, he also only has 4 hits. He's hitting 154 on the season, and he's yet to have an extra base hit. I'm sorry. He's had 1 extra base hit.
Yeah, double.
We need him, man. But again, that's what I'm talking about. You can't expect Candelario to be your run producer. He's got to be a compliment, not a main course, you know?
You need him just to get on first. You just need him to get a single and then get someone else, get back to the top of that lineup, hopefully, and score him.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Another guy I picked up expecting to be a Jonathan India replacement was Gavin Lux.
I think his career average, though, is like 220. Like, he was never like a huge hitter, but he's definitely not playing like he did in LA for sure, hitting wise.
251. He hit 276 in 22. He hit 251 in 24, but that included a terrible first half. I think he hit like 3 something in the second half. It was.
Yeah, he had a rough start, and maybe that's what's happening here in Cincinnati. Maybe he takes time to get warmed up, but I do not like what I see with him hitting wise. But I think it was 154. I'm looking at Candelario. What's Gavin Lux at right now? 194 is what it looks like.
194, yeah.
Yeah, but it's going back to just our offense is struggling. So
it's everybody.
It's not just one player. Like De La Cruz, he's not playing bad, but we know the type of hitting that we can expect with De La Cruz, and you kind of hit on it a little bit earlier. Like, he's getting these clutch situations, and he's just not doing what we need him to do, which we can't put the whole loss on him, and we can't expect him just to come through every time. But I mean, I don't even think De La Cruz is really hitting like we're used to seeing him hit.
Not at all. I totally agree. Not at all. He had 7 RBIs in one game. He's had 3 the rest of the year. I mean, we need him to tear it up, and he's just not there right now. And of course, the 2 greatest proponents here, Kyler, Jake Fraley and Spencer Steer. 2 guys with very similar stats on the year so far, but I'm going to be a lot more nice to one of them. Spencer Steer is hurt, very obviously hurt. He's not able to
be nice to Fraley, right?
Yeah. Spencer Steer is a guy, man, that I know he's not healthy, and we need him in the IL.
They should have just left him alone. Yeah, he shouldn't have even been DHing.
But Fraley's got no excuse, man. From everything we know, Jake Fraley is a healthy bat right now, and this is what we're getting, which really worries me, Kyler.
We've already kind of hit on it. I don't see him being in this lineup and starting if it continues. If not already, it might already have been cut. So, I think we're waiting on some news, some clarification.
Do we know? I wonder what the lineup looks like today. I guess I'll look really quick. We play at, what is it, like 9:45 today?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, here we go. Fraley's in the lineup. Marte and Benson are not in the lineup.
Well, wow. I mean, I think they just got, what was it, 2 hours ago?
Yeah, I know. But I would have liked to have seen it all. That's all.
It sounds like that might have been a little solidified a little bit before all those moves happened, but you never know. Could be a last minute put together.
This might be a last minute show us what you got, Jake Fraley moment. Well, it could be Jake Fraley's Lynn Sandy run coming up tonight.
Down in the comments, tell us what you think Fraley's going to do tonight.
Yeah, we'll
1 for 4.
We'll get this posted before the game. So 0 for 4, 4 for 4 even maybe. Maybe he goes off on a tear. Maybe he hits for the cycle. But that's basically it, man. We want to talk about some of the performers and really the underperformers so far this year. But guys, there's a lot to look forward to with Benson and Marte coming back. And once we get McLain, Stephenson, Hayes on the field, I really do think we have a decent lineup, Kyler.
Yeah, I think once we can get everyone healthy and kind of solidify a lineup that works, I feel like we're still kind of not – I know we're battling the injuries and all that, but it seems like we're kind of just putting a lineup together, just piecing together whatever we can. So hopefully when these guys get back, like Hayes, Steer can get like fully healthy, McLain comes back, we can kind of solidify that batting lineup. So we'll see.
Definitely, we'll see. And that's the biggest thing. It's got to wait and see. And some of these guys performing so far worse than their historical averages, it can't be that bad. I think it's just a lot of guys struggling at once right now.
It's early. Yeah, It's just early. I think it's, as they call it, like a shitstorm of injuries, people starting cold, offense-wise. Obviously, we don't have the same issue with pitching. But yeah, offense-wise, I think there's just so many factors going into it that it's not like it's just injuries. Like it's injuries, people are struggling, and it's just everything's kind of going wrong at the same time.
Well, hey, we're not going to start 3-22 this year, so cheers to that. So we're 4-7. So worst thing happened is 4-22. But you know what they say, Kyler? You have to lose 7 to win 155. So it's maybe we go on a tear. Maybe we rip 10 in a row off. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Reds Access, guys. Big thanks for tuning in. Of course, Kyler and I will be back soon with more information, breakdowns, Reds hot takes, everything you need to know about your Cincinnati Redlegs, again, throughout the entire 2025 season. Be sure to follow, subscribe, and keep the conversation going with us, both on social media and below. Comments really help us out. We appreciate the communication and the conversation, and definitely helps us get more traffic there as well. So rounding third and headed for home, Kyler Osterberger, myself, as always, go Reds.